I'm going to add the Washington Commanders run defense. Okay, I'm adding that to the list. And I showed you the tape earlier and how good the offensive line did, how they created numbers, the seams that Saquon's able to exploit, and how he can turn a single or a double into a home run. But let me just show you this graphic right here in terms of the progress that they made. Okay, so the first game against Philly, obviously had the 26 carries for 5.6 yards, the 2 touchdowns, 146 overall rush yards. Now, if you look at the first quarter of the last game, again, very impressive, 109 total yards, 2 touchdowns. But quarters 2 through 4, look at that dynamic. 22 carries, 1.9 yards a carry, and only 41 yards. So you've shown the ability to do that.
That's interesting.
You have shown the ability to stop them, and you did a great job with it after the first quarter last game. We can have that let down early. And look, he may get his yards. That's fine. And he may average 4 yards a carry, 4.5 yards a carry. Just we can't have the home runs or even the big play, the 25 to 30 yard type chunks. Just let him get his yards, but we need to do a better job of getting off those blocks and getting some sort of middle ground between what you did in the first quarter and what you did through quarters 2 through 4.
Coach, Nick alluded to it earlier. How much of that you think was Kenny Pickett being in instead of Jalen?
I don't think it was purely Kenny Pickett being in. And I think that the advantage they have this week is Jalen's going in hurt. So we don't know how effective he's going to be as a passer. And the starting point has to be for Washington to stop Saquon and make Jalen Hurts beat him. Otherwise, once he gets rolling, I mean, now you're trying to defend everything and you end up defending
No, that's
nothing.
fair. If you let Saquon go for $150 again, a third time, that's tough. Yeah.
Well, it's also just in their defense, if they do, the guy averaged like $125 a game.
Right.
Like that's just if Saquon Barkley goes for 130 yards, that's an average game.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just.
But they have shown the ability now. I mean, 22 carries,
No,
for
that is-
1.9 yards a
it's
carry.
Right.
That's impressive. That's impressive with that offensive line the way that he plays.
Coaches.
So
Okay. So I do think that graphic is going to be misleading. Because, and I've talked about this already in multiple Commanders, videos. And Eagles videos for that matter, I suppose, where Jalen Hurts went down, and then there was one big run for Saquon, and then after that, the offense could not really get going in the way they had to completely run their offense in a completely different way than what the Philadelphia Eagles do. Jalen Hurts and Kenny Pickett are two completely different quarterbacks, and it's not even close. It's not even close. And again, Dan Quinn changed the way he played defense. So you can't say that the Commanders, that it didn't have an effect because Dan Quinn himself changed the way he was calling the defense. So we know it had an impact. We know it had an impact. They are going to sell out and try to do everything they can to slow down Saquon because they're going to we're gonna force this backup quarterback to step up and make some throws because this is a backup quarterback who hasn't played in 15 weeks, longer than that because he didn't even play, all of last season. So yeah, they're gonna go all in on stopping Saquon. So that graphic right there is is very misleading. And it's not to say that the Commanders can't slow down Saquon. I'm not saying that. But I'm just also not going to kind of juice this up to Commanders fans and be like, you see that? You know how to stop him. You've shown that you can stop him. So let's go. I'm not doing that either. I'm trying to just paint a very realistic, point of reference here. And it's just that's why I kind of keep telling everyone. I keep telling Commanders fans and Eagles fans, I'm pleading with you guys. I've been pleading with you guys this whole week. Throw out the last game and the game before that as well. Throw out week 11 and week 16. It's meaningless. It's nothing. There's just nothing to take away from it for both teams. Both teams, it was a bizarre game. The Commanders had 5 turnovers, multiple fumbles, Jaden Daniels, multiple interceptions. Jalen Hurts going down, a huge defender for the Eagles, being thrown out of the game. Like, again, Kenny Pickett was the quarterback. A guy who's, for the most part, hanging on by a thread in the NFL. Like, it's just, it's too weirdly specific of a game. And then again, even Commanders fans, in week 11, Jaden Daniels, not 100%, which I think is fair. I think that's fair. So, yeah, obviously you want to slow down Saquon. And the whole Jalen Hurts injury adds another layer to that. If you think that all you do is have to slow down Saquon and then that's how you beat the Eagles, like, that's not true either. That's truly, honestly not true either. Because you slow down Saquon, and yet Kenny Pickett almost won the game. If Devontae didn't drop the ball, then they win the game. So it's not, we always try to make things feel so easy, so binary, so black and white. Slow down Saquon, you win the game, Commanders. It's not that simple. The Eagles are a great team because they're a great team, not just because of Saquon. So yeah, do the Commanders need to slow down Saquon? Yeah. They also need to slow down Jalen Hurts. They need to slow down A.J. Brown. They need to slow down Devontae, Dallas Goedert. They need to make that offense disjointed, disconnected. They need to kind of get them having multiple 3-and-outs. They need to make the fans starting to feel restless. If they can get the lead 14-7 even, 14-3, things start to get really uncomfortable. And then, if the Commanders win, you get to start to having the post-game analysis where they're like, oh, the Eagles, they got away from Saquon because they were down 14-3 going into the third quarter. And then people are like, oh, no, that's why you still have to give it to Saquon. Who cares that you were down? And other people are like, no, once they went down, they couldn't rely on, pretty much what they do about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So, again, I feel like in order for this game to really unfold in the way that the Commanders want it to unfold, and that's what I said kind of earlier, they need to dictate the terms and conditions of this game. If you allow the Philadelphia Eagles to dictate the terms and conditions, then it could be tough sledding. It could get, a little wonky out there. And then you are then really, really hoping that the Commanders and their 4th down conversions like that on all days, they're 5 for 6 on 4th down and not 2 for 4 on 4th down, 1 for 3, 1 for 5, right? Then it just puts that pressure back on the Commanders. But the Commanders can be in a position to really put all the pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you are forcing a banged up, legitimately banged up Jalen Hurts. You're putting his back up against the wall to try to maybe do more than he would want. And when you're trying to force a quarterback who's not 100% healthy to do more than they would want, they start to do things that they're not necessarily capable of doing in that moment because they're not 100%. And that's when you can start to get an unraveling. And that's when you start to get, trying to go off for a run or trying to escape pressure, but instead, even just a 1-yard loss, even just a 0-yard gain is massive. As well as forcing the ball to AJ. Now you get a turnover. And now it's like, oh, this is only his first interception in the last 8 games. And oh, man, and it could not have come at a worse time than this one. Right? Those are the sound bites that you're hoping to achieve. Tom Brady, I think I assume he's doing this game. You just can't make that throw. I see what Jalen was trying to do. It's just, he's clearly unsure of his legs right now. We don't really know how healthy that knee is. He tried to force the ball up to AJ, and it just was not the time to do it. That's what you're listening to hear. That's what you're hoping to hear. But yeah, I just don't want to try to make it. I just feel like that graphic makes it too simplified. You slow down Saquon, you got the game. Oh, the Commanders have shown that they were able to, slow down Saquon. Look what they did in quarters 2 through 4. And it's like, okay, in a very weirdly specific game, where everyone was turning the ball over, everyone was injured, it was getting thrown out. It was just a bizarrely weird game. There's no question about it. So throw that game out. And also, it doesn't matter anymore. It's Friday. The game happened weeks ago. The game's on Sunday. Be my guest. Keep looking in the past. I don't think it benefits anyone. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders? Do you think their path to success here is to really take away Saquon Barkley? And do you think that they've kind of already proven their ability to do so? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.